Guys, I wasn't lying. No, don't even. I wasn't lying when I said that I'm done buying guitars. I am. Don't even start. I am. I was serious. Yeah, but don't. I wasn't lying. Or was I? Hi everybody, how's it going? How are you guys doing? I'm great, doing fine, and I'm so excited actually because today's the day. It finally came. Today's the day that I'm showing you my guitar collection. I mean, I would have never thought I would make this kind of video. My guitar collection. Can you believe this? Can you? Because I can't. I mean, I don't even know how I got here. You know how it is, right? You start with one guitar, then of course, if you got an electric guitar, you want an acoustic guitar also, right? So you get an acoustic guitar, and that's fine. You think you're good for a while, and then you start thinking about another guitar, and you convince yourself that you need that guitar, and I mean, why not? So you finally get another guitar, so you have two electric guitars, one acoustic guitars, then you start thinking, you know, I have two single coils guitar, maybe I need an humbucker guitar, so you get an humbucker guitar. I mean, you know how it is, right? Because meanwhile, instead of playing the guitars you bought, you just keep on watching guitar reviews on YouTube, tons of music videos, and you discover new guitarists that you like, and maybe that guitarist that you like, he plays another kind of guitar, which coincidentally you happen to like, and so you start craving that guitar, and one way or another you finally get a guitar. You know what I mean? Please guys, tell me that you know what I mean. Tell me that I'm not alone doing this, because it's true. Sometimes I just wonder if I spend more time watching guitar reviews than actually play them. I mean, I think I have a problem here. Maybe I should start a support group for people like me. Please let me know in the comments. I want to know if I'm alone or not. Anyway, the thing is that for whatever reason I kept on buying and buying guitars and guitars until now. And I have to say that, I don't know, for the first time I feel I'm pretty satisfied with the guitars I have. So I think I'm gonna stop for a while buying guitars and focusing on actually play them. Okay, now before we dive in, I have to admit something. I'm not a great guitar player. I'm not exactly a virtuoso guitarist. So the question is, do I deserve these guitars, all these guitars I have? Probably not. Probably I would be just fine with just a couple of guitars. But deserving or not, the thing is that somehow I just found myself here at this point in my life where I've got some guitars. And since I've got some guitars, that means that I have a guitar collection. And today is the day that I'm showing them all to you. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. My guitar collection 2025. Alright then, first on my list, here it is, my Fender Stratocaster. Now, this guy here actually holds a special place in my heart because it's actually my oldest guitar. I've had it for 3 years now, but the guitar itself, it's actually 23 years old. Can you believe this, man? This is 23 years old, this guy here. This is a Fender Stratocaster American Series from 2001. Hot Rod Red, and it's the only used guitar that I own. And funny thing is, I didn't originally plan to buy this exact guitar. See, after a lot of study and research, I went into the shop thinking I was gonna work out with a Fender Player Stratocaster. You know, the Fender Player series is the series that Fender makes in Mexico, which is a little bit cheaper than the American ones. So yeah, I thought I was gonna buy a Fender Player. But then the shop employee, bless his soul, recommended I check out this used Fender American Stratocaster. And honestly, as soon as I picked it up, I was blown away. I mean, this guitar, it looked brand new. It didn't have not even a single little scratch on it. Don't ask me how was it even possible, but I promise you, it was brand new. The guy himself, he told me he could hang it among the other new guitars and nobody would notice. I mean, I believed him. It looked brand new, and the feeling from the Player One was a complete different feeling. This felt and looked much more high-end guitar. And the price was gonna be pretty much the same. I paid 900 euros for this used American Stratocaster, and the Player One cost that much. So it was a no-brainer. And there's something about this guitar, it just feels right. Okay, for starters, this guy here has the darkest rosewood fretboard I've ever seen. I mean, look at this thing. It's so dark. Can you tell how dark it is? I mean, it looks black. It looks like ebony, but it doesn't have the cold vibe the ebony gives sometimes. Instead, it gives the warm feeling. I mean, it's even soft. It's a very nice looking fretboard, rosewood fretboard. Absolutely stunning. And it looks gorgeous under the lights. I mean, beautiful, beautiful guitar, beautiful fretboard. The color, like I said, it's hot red, and it's the same color of the famous Mark Knopfler's Stratocaster. His, though, I think, it's got a maple fretboard instead of rosewood, but the color is the same. Even though I'm not really a fan of Mark Knopfler, but the guy, I mean, he can play guitar for sure. And the sound, well, everybody, I think, can recognize the classic single coil sound of a Stratocaster. I'm no expert, but I can definitely recognize the classic twang of the Fender Strat single coils. And this Strat has been featured in so many of my covers. Being my oldest, at the beginning of the channel, I used to cover everything with this Strat, and you can place everything. I mean, it's a very versatile guitar. Even though for some covers the Strat wasn't really the appropriate guitar. Just know that for reasons unknown, my most viewed cover on my YouTube channel, it's Knocking on Heaven's Door, one of the first covers I made, and I made it with playing this Strat. I mean, can you imagine Slash shredding on a Stratocaster? That's funny, right? But I think I also made a pretty decent job with this guy here, and to this day I still use it very often for my covers, and he always delivers. I mean, I've come to realize no guitar collection is a complete collection without a Fender Stratocaster, and I don't see myself parting ways with this guitar anytime soon. Alright, what have we got here? The Gretsch. This is a G2622t, and it's my semi-hollow guitar, because we all also need a semi-hollow body, don't we? Now, I didn't get this guitar because it was the most practical choice. I don't know exactly why, but I've always been attracted to Gretsch guitars. And it may be because of the look. Yeah, they always look stunning. Look at this one, look at the finish, the shape, the Bigsby, this marvelous color, which looks different every time the angle changes. It's called Abiel, if I remember this correctly. Yeah, this practically screams style. Yeah, this is one of those guitars that makes you feel like you have something special in your hands. I know it's not a Gibson 335, but it's got the Gretsch vintage vibe with a little bit of the old school rock and roll spirit, but with a more sophisticated touch. It doesn't want to imitate the Gibson. It's got its own personality. Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it? And I actually saved some bucks with this one, because it's a Streamliner. The Streamliner is the cheapest line of Gretsch guitars, but it certainly doesn't look cheap, does it? It looks gorgeous actually. This RBA color under the lights, it looks amazing. Does it feel cheap though? Yeah, there are a couple of minor issues that I don't particularly like. A pair of cheap guitars sometimes. The knobs, for one, I would have liked a little bit more of resistance here. They feel kind of plasticky to me. I don't know why, especially the master volume here feels very plasticky compared to the volume and tone knobs. And then I had a minor problem with the Bixby here. I still have to fix it properly. The screw that holds the handle here, it came loose and the Bixby, the handle just came off. But I'm not gonna lie here, all things considered, I'm very happy with this guitar. I would buy it again, for sure. Now, this guitar is super light, very light. It's very comfortable to play. I love the fingernails inlays here. Talking sound here, this guitar has a deep full tone that just fills up the space in a way that it's almost comforting. The humbuckers here, they're not the Filtertrons, the famous Gretsch humbuckers. They're the more affordable Broadtrons, but can I tell the difference? Honestly guys, I don't know. I told you before, I don't have a very fine ear. To me, it sounds great. And this guy, for one reason or another, he makes it always into my covers. I use it all the time as a rhythm guitar, so while I may change lead guitar depending on the covers, this guy here is often there to accompany. And there are also a couple of covers where it's the only star. Alright, moving on. Here it is, my Harley Benton acoustic guitar. This is the very famous 120 CE. Nothing fancy, nothing over the top, just a good, solid acoustic guitar that gets the job done. And you know what? Sometimes that's just what you need, get the job done. Okay, I'll be honest with you, this is not the kind of guitar that makes it into your dreams. It's not trying to impress anyone. It's more like I just wanted to sit back, strum some chords and just enjoy the simplicity of playing. Yeah, this is just the guitar for that. But you know what? It does impress in some ways. First off, the price. This thing here is very affordable. You wouldn't guess how much it cost me. Of course, we all know that Harley Benton has a reputation for delivering good guitars at a very affordable price, and this acoustic is no exception. But seriously, 90 euros? 90 euros? I paid 90 euros for this beauty. I mean, this is just proof that you don't have to spend a fortune to, you know, enjoy playing music. Okay, let's start with the color. Look at this translucent blue. I don't know if the light can... Oh yeah, here it is. This is the translucent blue of the Harley Benton. He's got binding all over the body and the fretboard. I mean, how is that possible? Is this binding even real? It doesn't look real to me. Well, of course, the sound is not going to blow you away, but it's got a nice balanced tone. Nothing too bright, nothing too boomy, just that perfect middle ground. And it's very, very, very playable. Action is right, just that kind of action that makes you want to keep playing. Now, if you're wondering why I have this guitar in my collection, because, you know, after all, it's not an high-end Taylor or Martin. You can tell the craftsmanship is not very spot on. Some painting smears here and there across the edges of the binding. But yeah, that's exactly the point why I got this guitar. I got this guitar because it's supposed to stay at my parents' house, so I keep it there. where it serves two purposes. One, it ornaments the living room. And two, of course, I get to play it every time I'm staying at my parents', because of course you have to have a guitar at your disposal everywhere you go. So that's why I have this Harley Benton acoustic. This guitar is about as humble as a guitar can get. It's simple, it's reliable, and it's perfect for those moments where you just want to play without worrying about anything else. It's the perfect guitar that you grab when you're lounging on your couch or you're sitting on a campfire. Yeah, that'd be its natural habit. Not that I ever actually played around a campfire, but hey, if the opportunity ever comes up, I'm ready. Since we're already talking about acoustic guitars, here it is, my lag. I'll admit right away this, I didn't buy this guitar for its sound or its specs, no. I just bought it because it looks gorgeous. I mean, look at it. Oh, I like it so much. Obviously, I did my research like always, watched a lot of reviews, trying to decide what would be my first acoustic guitar, my main acoustic guitar, and this one was very well reviewed. But this black finish, the dark, minimalistic vibe, the lack of fretboard inlays, the brown binding all around the body, the look of the tuners, the look of the headstock, this little cross here, it's got this almost gothic aesthetic. Honestly, it looks like the kind of guitar a vampire would play. It looks gothic, that's what it looks. I knew it was a solid choice because, like I told you, it's very well reviewed, but I pulled the trigger just because I fell in love with the look of it. And okay, maybe I'm shallow for saying this, but yeah, sometimes look really does matter. Like I told you, this is a lag and the model is a Tramontane 118 Auditorium. It's a French brand I didn't even know existed before, shame on me, because it does exist and apparently it makes good acoustic guitars. And while this one is not a high-end guitar, it's very solid for what it is. It cost me 500 euros, which felt reasonable for something this good looking and well reviewed, but there's more than just its appearance. As far as the sound goes, it's not trying to compare with a Taylor, but it's got that honest, unique tone. It's reliable, straightforward, and yeah, it gets the job done very well. I love just sitting back and just strumming a few chords and let it resonate. Yeah, like I told you, sometimes simplicity is all you need. And of course, being this my main acoustic guitar has been featured in so many guitar covers, either on its own or mixed with my other electric guitars. And while it's not the fanciest guitar in my collection, it holds a special place, this one too. This black gothic look, it's like a guitar with a personality. Plus, if Dracula ever needs a backup acoustic guitar player, I'm here. Moving on, here it is, Harley Benton TE52, the cheapest electric guitar in my collection, and honestly, the most surprising. I picked this guitar up for 150 euros. Yeah, you heard that right. And let me tell you, for that price, this thing here punches way above its weight. You know, I'm pretty sure every guitarist at some point in their lives has thought about getting a Fender Telecaster. The Tele attracts everyone sooner or later. Who doesn't want that legendary twang, Tele sound I know I did. But then I started hearing all those glowing reviews about this budget-friendly gem. Everyone was raving about how he delivered that vintage vibe without breaking the bank. So I thought, why not give it a shot? And wow, was that the right call? Okay, first off, look at this roasted maple neck. Satin finish, smooth as butter, absolutely gorgeous. It's just that kind of neck that makes you want to play so you can keep touching this thing. Sounds weird, I know, but if you've played one, you get it. It's very well made. I think way beyond the price of the whole guitar. Honestly, I think the neck alone justifies the purchase of this guitar. That's how much I like this neck. And for a guitar at this price point, the craftsmanship, the build is excellent. It's ridiculous, really. It's got that classic taily body shape, obviously that classic single coil taily twang. The output of the pickups isn't that high, but it's not bad either. And despite being my cheapest electric guitar, it's earned its own spot. I find myself picking it up more often than not, and every time I pick it up it reminds me that you don't have to spend a fortune to play a good guitar. Especially nowadays, the average build quality of budget-friendly guitars has gotten very high. It's funny, because I think I went into this thinking I was settling for an alternative Fender Telecaster, but the TE52, it feels like its own thing. It's not trying to be a Telecaster, it's just being itself. The headstock differs a little from the original Fender Telecaster, and I thought this would bother me more at first, but then I came to appreciate the difference. And yeah, this is an Harley Benton, it's not a Fender, so I appreciate it for what it is. The only downside, this thing, it weighs. Oh my god, if it weighs! I mean, a lot. It's heavier than my Les Paul. Anyway, 150 euros, very well spent. Yeah, if you're on a budget and you're looking for an excuse to buy another guitar, add another guitar to your collection, well, I just gave you one. So you're welcome. Here we go! What have we got here? Oh my god, my baby! How does it look? So nice, beautiful, I love it. Can't help it, every time I pick it up I can't help a sniff at the nitro. Oh my god, the nitro. Yeah, the Les Paul, this is my baby. This is my Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s. Now, this guitar has been a dream of mine since I was a teenager, since I was a kid really. Now, I know this sounds silly, but when I was a teenager, I just had one poster hanged on my wall, and it was of Slash, shirtless, on stage, playing, of course, a Gibson Les Paul. And back then, I would have never thought that one day I would own a Gibson Les Paul myself. They just seemed too perfect, too expensive, and honestly, at the time it felt like a guitar that was beyond my skill level. I figured I'd stick with something cheaper until I was good enough to deserve one. Truth be told, at one point in my life I owned a Gibson Les Paul Studio. But you know how it is, at least for me, you're always craving for the next big thing. So that Les Paul Studio, I didn't particularly fell in love. We didn't click, we just didn't click. And I remember dreaming about the classic Les Paul Standard when I was a teenager, so that was always in my mind. Anyway, time passed, something changed. I got a little bit better, more motivated, I saved up, and eventually I decided that it was time I got my own Gibson Les Paul. Yeah, I remember perfectly the moment I decided, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna buy a Les Paul Standard. That was a great moment. Yeah, so once I decided, to be honest, choosing the color wasn't hard because I had always been in love with this tobacco bars. I was actually this close to getting the 60s standard instead of this 50s standard because of the slimmer neck of the 60s. But yeah, eventually I went for the vintage vibe of the 50s. The chunkier neck is not particularly uncomfortable for me to play, and I like the vintage style tuners. And besides, the tobacco bars, it's an exclusive of the 50s, so I just went for it. And this Les Paul is absolutely perfect. The tone, it just cuts to everything. The sustain, it's unreal. Oh man, the sustain in this thing. It's like the guitar is begging you to play solos, even though I'm not a shredder, but you know, playing a solos on a Les Paul, it feels different. And honestly, this guitar, it makes me feel like I'm in my own element. I feel good when I have the Les Paul strapped around my body. It feels nice, not gonna lie. The kicker here, compared to all my other guitars, is the nitro finish. It looks stunning. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's a Gibson Les Paul Standards, what else could I say? I'll say this though, if I had to choose for just one guitar for my collection, yeah, it would be the Les Paul. It's impossible not to fall in love with. I mean, the look, the sound, and let's be honest, the history. This guitar has made the rock history. This is the kind of guitar that makes you feel part of something bigger, a guitar with legacy. So yeah, it took me a while to get to the point where I could actually own a Gibson Les Paul Standard, but now that I have it, I can say that all those years of dreaming and wishing and saving, they were absolutely worth it. So thank you Les Paul, and thank you Gibson. Alright, what can I say? Jackson Randy Rhoads. Okay, so my metal axe. Tell me that you have never had a fantasy about a flying V guitar, an extreme shape guitar. I've always wanted a flying V, and I was very torn between the classic flying V shape and the Randy Rhoads. For those of you guys that don't know this, the Randy Rhoads shape, it's a little different from the flying V shape because he has one point shorter than the other. The first prototype was called a Concorde because it resembled the famous ultrasonic airplane. Yeah, I was torn a little, but you know, I love the legend of Randy Rhoads, so it wasn't a hard choice after all. And I mean, look at it. Doesn't it just scream cool? The shape, the headstock, the attitude, it's got it all. Don't get me wrong, I already told you, I'm not a shredder. I'm not gonna start throwing out insane solos at full speed, but I've always had a thing for Jackson. I mean, there's just something about the headstock. I love the Jackson guitars headstocks so much. They're so good looking. It's like Jackson is saying, yeah, we're here to make a statement. And who doesn't want to make a statement with a guitar that looks like this one? Of course, I knew I wasn't gonna go for the high-end models because, you know, I'm more of a budget but awesome guitar kind of guy, at least depending on how I feel at the moment. Anyway, in this case, I was going for a budget-friendly kind of guitar. So I decided to go for the cheapest line Jackson Guitars has, which is the JS line. So this is a Randy Rhoads JS32t. T for the stop tape version. Didn't go for the Floyd Rose version because, you know, it's kind of a hassle to set up a Floyd Rose. Being this not my first guitars and being me not a shredder, I thought it was a good idea to just go for the stop tail version. Only two colors, for the JS32t. It was either black or white. I already have a white guitar, so I went for the matte black. And I gotta say, it looks nice. Honestly, for this price, this guitar kicks way above its weight. It obviously has the classic punchy Jackson sound, aggressive, perfect for those fast riffs. Even though I'm not shredding like Randy Rhoads itself, I get the vibe every time I get to play this guitar. And let me tell you something now, Randy Rhoads isn't just a legend. He is, but not just that. He's an icon. The guy was a total prodigy. His playing, his tone, his stage presence, it was all just mind-blowing. I've always looked up to Randy Rhoads, and I suggest you guys, if you don't know it already, you go read this story. Tragic story, beautiful story. And every time I pick this up, I feel connected with the spirit of Randy Rhoads, his energy, his magic. It was magic. He made you believe in the power of music like no other guitarist could. So yeah, that's why, even though I don't play a lot of metal, I still wanted a Jackson in my collection. This guitar is all about speed, precision, attitude, look, unmistakable look of all those Jackson guitars. And yes, and this Jackson delivers. He can play. Yeah, sometimes I just pick it up for the sheer fun of it. It's one of those guitars that makes you feel like a rock star. Even though you're just making covers in your living room for your YouTube channel. But honestly, there's nothing wrong with a little rock star fantasy, right? And let's not forget, it's a Jackson. This guitar looks like it was designed for an intergalactic battle. If it were any cooler, I'd need sunglasses. Besides, I missed the sharp inlays. Oh my god, that's so cool. I used to have them on my old Ibanez when I was a teenager. Okay, one thing that I think is worth mentioning is that this thing here, it's a pain in the ass to play while seated. Oh my god, I just can't. I can't play it while I'm seated. I mean, if you're standing, of course, no problem whatsoever. You just have the guitar strapped around you. You can play easy peasy. It's so easy to play, it's so playable while you're standing. If you're seated, on the other hand, that's a completely different matter. This would be the position I usually play a guitar. But I can't play this one like this because of this pointy side that is not leveled with my lap. So I know, watching other people playing this kind of guitars on YouTube, that they usually play it like this. They usually rest the guitar between their legs. This would be better, but to play like this, you have to stay right on the tip of your chair. I mean, on the point of falling off. I think it was one thing worth mentioning. Alright then, it's beautiful, isn't it? What a guitar, what a shape, what a headstock. Good job, Jackson. Okay, now let's talk about this beauty here. My Gibson SG Standard in classic white. Tell me the truth, isn't this guitar beautiful? Now, if you'd ask me a few years ago if I'd ever owned an SG, I would have said no way. Nah. I thought of myself more of a Les Paul guy. I like the SGs just fine, I like them, but I was always drawn to the Les Paul. I just didn't think I wasn't an SG guy. Crazy, right? I'm telling you this to let you know that it wasn't love at first sight. In fact, when I first tried an SG, I walked out thinking, yeah, not my style. I think I must have been high on something. Well, I must say it was during my research for a Les Paul, so that might be the reason actually. But I'll tell you this now, you know how it goes. You finally get to buy one guitar and you immediately start thinking about the next one. So yeah, it was when I got my Les Paul actually. The SG started creeping into my thoughts, and watching all those guitar reviews obviously didn't help either. So all of a sudden I started imagining an SG in my collection. And just then it happened that Gibson released these new custom colors for the SG Standard line. Not just the usual black and vintage cherry they've been making forever. And that classic white, it hit me like a thunderbolt. An SG Standard in classic white? Are you kidding me? I was in love. So I got it. Of course I got it. And let me tell you, playing this guitar, it's an experience, really. It's not just about the tone, which is incredible. I mean, you guys know this already. Bright, punchy, sharp, but it's about how it feels playing it. The guitar is very light, it's very comfortable. It's just that kind of guitar that makes you want to move, play faster, louder, with more passion, basically. Honestly, I do love my Les Paul. I do love my Les Paul. It's probably the best guitar I own, and probably the one guitar I would choose if I just had to pick one guitar for my collection. But if I just had to pick just one guitar to keep and play, I think it would be the SG. Yeah, this is another very special guitar. I just love my white SG. So you don't ever tell my Les Paul all the things I say about you, alright? Don't ever tell him. So yeah, what else can I tell you? I mean, everybody knows a Gibson SG, right? I mean, I don't have to explain this guitar to you. It's just an icon. Look at it. Beautiful. Beautiful shape. So yeah, it turns out I'm an SG guy after all. It took me a while to figure it out, but yeah, better late than never. Alright then, that was it. That was my guitar collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been so fun making it. So let me just thank you guys all for watching. I hope you liked my guitars, and feel free to tell me what you think about my collection, and more importantly, how is your guitar collection coming along? I want to know. Since I don't do vlogs this often, I'm gonna take this opportunity to thank you guys, everyone, for watching my channel. Thank you for all the comments you drop on my channel. Yeah, thank you for everything. I received a lot of nice comments, and so really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you've enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you guys could subscribe, hit that like button, and share the video with anyone who might enjoy it. And I guess I'll see you around pretty soon, guys. Ciao!